So this is the classic 620 games built in. This is basically an NES Classic cloned console system that you can buy for the astoundingly low price of $20. You might be saying to yourself, there is no way possible that this is even legit or legal in any way, shape, or form. And while I'm not here to debate that, this is an NES clone system that does not have HDMI, but AV. Comes with 2 controllers and has tons of NES games built in. But there's just one downside. Quality. Oh yeah, you hear that audio sound, don't you? Yeah, that's the loud buzzing. Again, HDMI plays a massive role in the quality of NES games. But for $20, I mean, what do you actually get in terms of the games? If the controller works and it does display video games on it, then I guess all there is to it is if it sounds alright and plays alright, then $20 for 620 NES games isn't bad, right? Well, that is until you get to the NES games. Oh, Mortal Kombat 4! I don't remember that being on the NES, because it wasn't. So, this thing is filled with not only ROM hacks, but things that you would just find across the internet that would be unique and interesting, but not something you would be playing on a day-to-day basis, or try to play through for the most part. Yeah, so Mario 10 is, this game has been cloned and replaced and modded with all kinds of video game characters. You might remember it from, when I reviewed the Pikachu game. God, have you ever seen Mario fight a tiger and win? God. Just to see that alone, this might be worth it. But there are good games on this system. Like, you can get access to the Turtle games, that's pretty cool, especially Turtles Arcade. Because this system does come with 2 controllers, and as I said before, the quality of the controllers are not awful. So you can play co-op and multiplayer and play through these Turtle games. Some of the absolute best games available on the NES library. And you can play them with a friend without having to go out and buy an extra controller. That's awesome! So, yeah, this actually does have some decent games to it. Some games come on the system like Contra that allow you some warp hacks to get you to different levels starting off. So you don't actually have to play through the game, you can go to various levels right off the bat. That's cool, I guess, but once again, the selling point really is just being able to play these classic NES games at $20 instead of $80, or the ridiculous asking price of eBay scalpers. Again, it's really nice to be able to play games like Double Dragon and Adventure Island, and they actually work on a system that cost me $20. That's 1/3 of the price of a new video game these days. At least a very high-grade AAA video game. Man, so I ended up hooking it up to a bigger TV just to see, okay, maybe we have a better picture, maybe we'll have a worse picture. And I started off playing some Tetris, then I moved into Xevious, and it looks really good on a big screen or a small screen, which was really shocking to me, considering once again these are AV cables, lest we forget the loud buzzing noise. But the buzzing noise does go away when you start actually playing the game. It just seems to be there when you're doing nothing, like it's just a weird effect that plays for whatever reason. Spy vs. Spy played clean and just as fun as ever. Once again, another game that you can co-op. Elevator Action worked just fine. A great arcade port. Definitely a marvelous game to play if you've never tried it before. Very fun. All these games are extremely fun. That's the whole point of this system. I gotta tell you, I was pleasantly surprised when I started seeing arcade ports and different unique games like Dig Dug 2 working on them perfectly fine as well. $20. I cannot express that to you anymore. Very popular games like Bomb Jack were here, and they played flawlessly. It was something to see. And then you have your classic Mario. Now here's the thing. I was unable to find Mario Brothers 2 or Mario Brothers 3, which makes me think they just literally didn't include it. Out of all of the games to include, at least you got the original Mario Brothers. But man, why leave out Mario Brothers 2 and 3? And for that matter, if this is some clone console, why bother not just putting in every single game that you want? You know, you're already breaking the law. You already don't have the licenses for most of these games. Why not put in amazing games that everyone loves for the NES? It's a good question. Here we have Golf, which is, it's Golf. It's not a bad game, believe it or not. I mean, it's shocking to know that, but Golf is a pretty fun game on the NES. If you never tried it, definitely pick it up. And then we have some other odd games. Whether they're clone games or not, they're pretty fun nonetheless. And if they're clone games, most of the time they're clone games that are based off of real NES games that are not awful. So even if you're playing a clone version, they're not terrible games. That's something that you can at least take solace in, which is a pretty good thing. I've seen some terrible homebrew applications for the NES. And this clone system even has sweet games from Sunsoft like Batman. Man, this was awesome back in the day. And it plays perfectly fine. So if you missed out on all of these games, or you just weren't born of that age, this is a nice solution to where you're not paying a ridiculous price on eBay for an HDMI compliant NES, and yet you're still getting the NES experience. Is it perfect? No. I mean, come on, man. A loud buzzing sound while you're just having it sit on, that's not very fun. You know, the fact that it's not HDMI and it's relying upon the old AV cords, the build quality is questionable at best. I mean, it's not the worst, but it's not the best either. I'd give it an in-between stage, but for $20 I would have expected much less. So this definitely does have a leg up on most of the other clone systems that are available out there. In terms of clone systems I've seen, this is probably one of the best ones I've ever been able to look at. And that's the whole point of this review, ladies and gentlemen. This is totally and unequivocally one of the absolute best and most surprising clone systems I've ever had the chance to look at. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is it janky? Is it cheap? Would it last you forever? You know, these are good questions to ask, but for $20 you could always just buy two of them and leave one boxed in case this one broke. I've had mine for a couple months now, and it's actually working really nice. And in the wake of the fact that we're not going to be getting a virtual console in the same way we once did for the Nintendo Switch, this might be a really nice solution for people who are looking to play some classic NES games. Does it have Zelda or Metroid? No, it doesn't have some big hitters out there that you might want to play, but it does have games like POW, it has Contra, it has good old Mario Brothers, and this might be a really great present to get a child who's a little bit aggressive, a little bit forceful with the stuff that they own. You know, you don't want them breaking the NES Classic that's really nice, has HDMI compliance, and is hooked up to the main TV. So you give them one of these and a cheap TV, you got it Goodwill, and hey, you got entertainment for hours. They might even play through some of the greatest games ever created on the NES, and it cost you $20. Yeah, and the cheap TV at Goodwill. So at the end of the day, is it worth the money? Well, I guess if you don't have an NES Classic and you haven't hacked it to put 620 games on it, then yeah, it's pretty cool. There are some clones and copies on here, there are some mods, there are some ROM hacks, but they're all fun. It's a fun clone console, and that's all I can say about it. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you did, make sure to leave me a big thumbs up. If you didn't, leave me a thumbs down and tell me what I can do better in the future. And I'll leave a link in the description to get this if you want. I'm not promoting them. I'm not even suggesting that you support piracy or anything like that. But if you'd like to test the system out, I'll give you the option to do so. but you're still gonna have to shell out that coveted $20 bill. I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. As always, good gaming, God bless, and thank you for taking the time out to watch this review.
What are you doing?